Hello, Midland, Texas. Buddy Webb here. Hey, I got a quick video I want to make for you that might explain a lot of things. And this is from a Facebook post yesterday. And, and I did a little colorful just headliner there. I trapped a burglar in my bathroom. So their friends tried to murder me. And when that failed, they tried to cut off my leg. Truth. Okay, and so that's not really based on what Buddy said. It's not my assessment or what I think happened. That's what the evidence shows. This has been just unprecedented lawlessness, and so I posted several different old pictures and little stories, and that's what I'm going to show you here real quick, and that way you can get an idea of what was really going on here. By the time of the murder attempt, I had reported repeated burglaries to the police, and you can verify that's real easy. On this day, I came home from the store and recognized that somebody had been inside my home once again. I got this idea to tie wire the spare doors shut and unknowingly trapped a burglar in my guest bathroom. I was on the other side of the door with a gun. They had a choice to turn themselves in, but that would have revealed the home being rigged with hidden access and the many other crimes they committed. They made the choice to murder me. That's what happened. Okay, and so basically, and not to rehash what I post every day, multiple people said there's underground facility tunnels here. Literally probably hundreds of videos of burglar alarms going to the house, people breaking in this house, and all the history with the last homeowner. But just here, I returned from the hospital 10 days after being ambushed and shot. I was shot by surprise in my home. Okay, and what had happened that day is I tie-wired the spare bedroom door shut. And I did that because I recognized somebody had been inside my home. I'd been reporting these burglaries, and it's a dangerous situation, and the police wasn't doing anything, And what I found here, this picture shows me inside my guest bathroom looking down the hallway. Okay, so what you're seeing is the inside door jamb. Okay, and so I found pry marks up there. You see them pry marks? Well, I painted this whole house when I got there, and they wasn't there, when I shot. It happened, when I was in the hospital. And that's what told me that I had trapped a burglar in that room that day, and I didn't know it. And so really that's what happened. And you're going to go on to see where that's probably used as justification for trying to murder me because I was a homeowner under a home invasion, and I unknowingly trapped a burglar. And this wasn't a one-time felony. And they were stealing from me. They were stealing services, heating, cooling, electricity, etc. And so even here at the nurse's notes at the hospital, and that was at 11:27. Remember, I crawled out at 10:42. And she's documenting what I'm saying. I was tie-wiring my doors to keep them out. Okay, and also there's sirens going off, and so that was alarms. Their alarms kept going off. Those were burglar alarms in my attic. Okay, and now people all over Midland, Odessa, Texas, and across the nation have reported people in the attic. I believe it's connected to human trafficking ring. So anyway, we know what happened on the day I trapped a burglar. There is absolutely no doubt that I trapped a burglar before I got shot by surprise with my phone lines cut. And so my next post, okay, just minutes after I crawled out, MPD officer, Midland police officer, Chandler, that's April Chandler, was at the hospital filling out an emergency detention form. You can see where she started to write that I shot myself, but then scribbled that out knowing it was a lie. She changed her wording to say Mr. Webb showed paranoia to the extent that he caused himself to suffer a gunshot wound. She was blaming me, the crime victim, and homeowner, and trying to justify this murder attempt by the criminals that broke into my home. And I think what we'll find out, I'm not going to be surprised if it wasn't corrupt police that tried to murder me. And their justification was that I was a homeowner that had unknowingly trapped a burglar during the commission of a felony, burglary of a habitation. Okay, and so this is the emergency detention form at the hospital, Midland Memorial Hospital, Officer April Chandler. It's time stamped 11:03. That's important because when you look at the newly found or long withheld police report, it conflicts with the timestamps on it, and it shows that she had also lied because she said she met me at the 7-Eleven when that was Rosa Rodriguez. Said it was, and both of them lied, and so you have multiple police officers lying about this premeditated for-profit capital attempted murder. But here's what I read a minute ago. Mr. Webb showed paranoia to the extent he shot. See, she started to write SHO and scribbled it out. And I believe she knew that I didn't shoot myself, that was a bold-faced lie. And she scribbled that out and changed the wording to say caused himself to suffer a gunshot wound to the ankle. Okay. And so, it was easy for me to see, here's what she's saying. Oh, it's Mr. Webb's fault because he's under a home invasion, another burglary that he's been reporting for 14 months and his life's threatened, and he unknowingly trapped a burglar. So he caused himself for us to sneak under his home, come in there, shoot him by surprise and cut his phone lines and watch him die, listen to him scream for help. I mean, that's what she's saying there. It's my fault, the homeowner. Bull crap, it's not my fault. It's these killers that are breaking my home. It's these people that have rigged this home with hidden access. Okay, so in the next post, I had been shot from point blank range by surprise with my phone lines cut. I was supposed to die, and with a large group of corrupt police involved, then nobody would dare question my murder, but God saved my life, and the shot threaded the needle. They didn't plan on me living, so this is where they had to start making it up. They put my name on the x-rays of a guy shot 11 days before me. That's what I believe. This other guy, and that's based on evidence, this other guy was missing his heel bone, so they took me into surgery and cut my heel bone off to match the faked x-rays. So that was a dismemberment of a crime victim. Intentional maiming and mutilation. They also cut a huge hole in the side trying to make it look like I've been shot with a shotgun when that hadn't happened. 2 days later, they come up with a plan to just cut off my leg at the knee. They didn't want to leave any evidence or have anybody find out that they intentionally maimed and mutilated a crime victim to cover up a failed murder. My dad gave me a hint that something fishy was going on, so I told them no, I wouldn't agree to an amputation. And then came the daily strong suggestions. Every time I saw the surgeon for several months, he would mention amputation. What kind of monsters cut off the leg of an innocent person to cover up a crime? And that's what's going on. And so here, what I did, I went through the medical records. The top one isn't from the medical records. The top one is from the police reports. This is Rosie Rodriguez mentioning amputation, but his foot was not amputated. And you can imagine how this dirty cop, was desperate to have my leg cut off, and you can see how upset she was there. And that's why she mentioned on the police report as they were wanting the evidence of this failed murder cut off, and because they had sneaked in my home and shot me, or somebody had, and they were part of it. Okay, and then on and on, these are different days. Offered this patient a right below the knee amputation. Okay, I believe has a major problem, require an amputation. These are day after day after day. He does not wish to have an amputation. He will consider a right BKA. That's a below the knee amputation. Okay, we had further discussion, continuing wound care versus BKA, below the knee amputation. Patient declines amputation. Not willing to have a BKA over and over. And this isn't even all of them, okay? And so they were desperate to cut off my leg, to dismember a crime victim that had crawled out by miracle to survive a premeditated murder attempt. Okay, the next one. The video shows the evidence that I found, which told me that I trapped a burglar on the day of the murder attempt. I didn't know that they were there, so they were not in any danger. They could have turned themselves in without any bloodshed, but of course they were going to prison. They tried to murder me because they had been caught in the commission of a felony, which was a burglary of a habitation. That is what makes this a capital crime. It has nothing to do with me, but the choices these criminals made for themselves. Okay, and so I didn't tell them, go break in Buddy's home. They that was their deal. They're the ones that decided they're going to rig a home. They're going to break into a private home. They're stealing from me, and of course they're using these dirty cops. This video here is called "Tie Wire the Door Shut," but I think it'd just be quicker if I just take you in there into the bathroom, because when I got home from the hospital after 10 days crippled, I find this bathroom door that I had tie wired shut was torn. The hinge was torn off on the bottom, and then when I went inside, what I noticed here at the top, it was some pry marks, okay, on the top of the door. They're real prominent, right? And so obviously the door was shut, right? And then they're trying to get out of here, and the tie wire was stopping them, and I'm on the other side with a gun, and then their friends shot me, tried to murder me. Well, they could have called the police, right? And, the police that don't help murder citizens in their homes, them police, the good ones, and it's been over. But no, that, they made a conscious choice to murder. I mean, that's what happened, okay? So how did the burglars get out of the bathroom that was tie wired shut? It looks like MPD Lieutenant Dickey was involved in the burglaries, and he come up from under my home and let the burglar out. The newly found police report shows him inside my home at 11:05, but he wasn't seen coming in from the door, which was watched by security cameras that were not disabled until 11:22 p.m. So there's a video you can go check out called "Who Let the Burglar Out?" Okay, and what that is based on is that the timestamps, I crawled out at 10:42. The camera was disabled on the front of my house at 11:22, and Martin County Sheriff Woodward and late Midland Sheriff Deputy Naylor arrived at 11:01. So between 11:01 and 11:22, right? Okay, my front door was watched. Nobody else arrived. Nobody was seen going in. But then here, this police report that was withheld for 7 years. I just got it a few months ago, and when I'm going through it, what I find at 11:05, in between the time that the camera, before the camera was disabled, that Lieutenant Dickey says no one else is in the house. Lots of odd things like booby traps. Well, there is no booby traps in the evidence logs. There was no booby traps, and that was a lie. You know, they were trying to discredit me, making up. But the point I'm making here is that who let the trap burglar out that in the tie-wire shop? And the obvious answer is it was Lieutenant Dickey that was inside my house at 11:05 and not seen going into the door. Okay, so obviously they came up from under my home. Previous owner of my home said, I used to live there. I said, oh yeah. He said, yeah, I used to go in the tunnels. Me and my brother did it under that home. And he's just one person that's told me about tunnels underground facility here. Also, you see where Hale and Angel, and actually I think it's Davis, and then Dickey, and then Greg Chatwell, and Hale, and Angel, and then this Ramirez. He was a backer, and it never shows an unseen ONSCN, but most likely he was one too. It's just that it wasn't on the police report showing him on scene. And so we don't have proof he was on scene at a certain time like we do, you know, these other ones here. And you see we're on scene at 23:03. So, you know, the Naylor and Woodward showed up at 23:01. Cameras wasn't disabled to 23:22, and this guy was never seen showing up. That told me they were under my house, and very likely one of them is the would-be killers. They're the person that shot me, and also they were working with the burglars that were breaking my house that was trapped in the bathroom. Okay, and so that might explain why they tried to murder me, because they were involved in this racketeering, and now homeowners all over Midland, Odessa are reporting people in the attic, and so it's a wide scale racketeering, a crime, burglary, theft, murder, human trafficking, etc. Okay, and also obviously police corruption. The timestamps from the evidence shows that I was crawling out at 10:42 on January 28, 2012, after being shot by surprise with my phone lines cut. That's why I crawled out. My phone lines were cut. At 11:01 p.m., Woodward and Naylor are seen arriving wearing tan uniforms. Okay, so we got them down. And 11:22, the cameras on the front of my house were disabled. Nobody else was seen arriving, or nobody was entering my house. On the long withheld report that was withheld for 7 years, even violation, it shows Davis, Dickey, Chatwell, Angel, and Hale were at or inside my home before the cameras were disabled, and they were not seen arriving or entering. This means they were under my home from where I had been shot. Okay, and so I would be asking these guys what they know about the death of the last homeowner, Mike Lawhon, who died the week before the 2008 oil show started, and also the girl at the 2010 oil show party that was murdered for refusing a prostitute. My friend was there, and she was afraid to report it and said high-level police were there. What do you want to bet that some of these police, which are the secret police, you know, it took all them years, 6 years and $2,000 reward to get them identified, that they also know. So we're talking about more than just the capital premeditated murders in my life, but or the 10,000 burglaries or the other homes and all that. We're also talking multiple murders, capital murders. That would be death penalty cases on the girl at the party and Mike Lawhon. Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas. Share this.